Hello, it's Ted Corless with the Corless Barfield Trial Group. I'm also the editor of a blog called newsmunchies.com. Today's video is about Florida's passage of Amendment 2, where we have created a constitutional right in the state of Florida to use medical marijuana. Here's the question everybody wants the answer to. What happens now? All right, a couple of years ago, the Florida legislature got together and focused on the issue of medical marijuana. Not necessarily because the legislators in the state of Florida wanted to pass legal marijuana, but instead they were aware that there were going to be citizens' initiatives, a referendum, where people were asking that the issue of medical marijuana be put on the ballot. It was put on the ballot in 2014 at around the same time that the state of Florida passed what is called a low THC concentrate version of medical marijuana. Let me cover both of those. First of all, you can get a concentrated form of medical marijuana oil in the state of Florida right now in very limited circumstances for a very narrow set of diseases. But in addition to that, the legislators were so paranoid that people might actually enjoy the medication that they obligated that the production of this product, this concentrate, have low THC. Now, whether or not medical marijuana in those forms is of any value is really going to be set aside now, because although it didn't pass in 2014, it did pass in 2016. Now, let me give you a sense of how much support it has in the state of Florida. In 2014, when the same amendment was put on the ballot, more people voted for Amendment 2. It was Amendment 2 in 2014 and in 2016. But in 2014, more people voted for Amendment 2 than voted to elect Governor Rick Scott. More people voted in 2014 to vote for Amendment 2 than voted for Pam Bondi for Attorney General. And in 2016, more people voted for Amendment 2 in the state of Florida than voted to elect President Trump. If you look at the individual numbers, the support associated with this, it's staggering. There are 67 counties in the state of Florida. All 67 counties had more than 50% support for Amendment 2, and 63 of the 67 had 60% or higher, which meant that it would have met the individual requirement to change the Constitution. But again, we only had to obtain 60% or higher of the total population, and the numbers ended up coming in right around 70%. 7 out of every 10 people in the state of Florida supported Amendment 2. Can you even think of another issue put in front of voters in the state of Florida where that kind of support was available? It doesn't exist. There is nothing in the state of Florida on the ballot or being discussed in Tallahassee that has that kind of support. So what happens next? If Florida follows the same path that most other states have after the citizens have approved a constitutional amendment on medical marijuana, if we follow that path, we may be facing yet another 3 to 5 years before legal dispensaries can open and medical marijuana can be sold legally in the state of Florida. It would be my sincere hope that the Florida legislature not drag its feet, because not only of the social benefits associated with cannabis consumption, but also the economic benefits associated with the tax revenue that will be raised by it. What will happen next is, now that there has been a constitutional amendment, Governor Rick Scott has an obligation to construct the agency that will be responsible for monitoring the growing of, the distribution of, and the sale of medical marijuana, including what doctors will be able to give those opinions. These individual pieces of the puzzle are going to take a very long amount of time if the legislature chooses to make it take a long time. They don't have to. Instead, what they could do in the next legislative session is to hear what the voters said to them in 2016 with the strength of the vote and move on this topic. Whether that's going to happen or not, I guess we'll find out. I'm going to invite you to come to our website at www.corlessbarfield.com, or also go to my blog, www.newsmunchies.com, to hear more about medical marijuana in Florida and the exciting things that are going on in the cannabis industry. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.